So you know how sometimes you have to say like, I'm so excited, and you're not really that excited? This is not one of those times. I am literally so excited to share this practice with you. I'm so excited that you've decided to take a little bit of time for yourself. I'm sure that you have all kinds of shit going on in your life. You know, this job, this role, that role, whatever. You took the time to be here right now. Pat yourself on the back. I'm so proud of you. The sequence that we're gonna do is gonna be really fun. It's gonna get you in your body, in your spirit, and really make you feel at home within yourself. There may be a couple of moments where you're like, Jessamine, this is some bullshit and I'm not trying to do this anymore. If so, I feel you. It happens to everybody. Honestly, that experience is why you're here too. If you haven't already gotten your yoga props together, I would recommend grabbing 2 blocks. They can be any kind of blocks, but I would recommend getting real blocks if you got them. And grab a blanket, a bolster. You can use a pillow if you don't have a bolster. Your bolster might be covered in cat hair like mine is. Whatever makes the most sense for you. And I would also recommend grabbing a strap as well. Get your mat, lay it out, and we're gonna get started. So, the first pose that we're gonna practice is called Shavasana. This is corpse pose. A lot of times people talk about corpse pose like it's really easy or something. It's not. Corpse pose can be kind of stressful for some of us. So take your time whenever getting into this posture. I'm gonna move my props off to the side and get it settled down. Now first, I like to put my feet flat on the ground and then just let my spine come down 1 vertebrae at a time. Just like the most mindful laying down that you've ever done. So lay down. Oh. And then I like to take my hands and put them at the back of my skull and literally pick up the back of my head and then shake out my neck. So you can do this, maybe even like run your fingers into your hair. Ugh. And then let the back of your head come down to the ground again. Oh, and it may feel best to keep your feet on the ground, knees knocking up. If it feels better for you, you may want to let your knees knock together and then the feet go out to either side of your mat. You might roll onto the big toe edge of your feet. It may feel better to bring the soles of your feet together, and let your knees knock out that way. With your arms, take up space, spread them wide. If you're in a small space and your fingers touch the wall, that's okay. Don't stress out about it. But just let your eyes close. Start to tune into yourself. It takes great courage to step away from the roles that we play in life. And so before we go any further, take a moment to thank yourself for taking this time here on your mat. For giving yourself an opportunity to reset. In so many ways, this practice is not just about us. It's not just about our physical bodies, mental bodies, spiritual bodies. More often than not, this practice is a service to others. So that as we prioritize ourselves, as we strengthen from the inside out, we're able to be of service to others. Really sink into that truth. And as you're here, just start to notice your breath. Not with any pressure or judgment. Just start to notice the way it moves through your body. There may be spaces where it's tight. There may be spaces where it feels ragged. But start to focus your attention on creating a very deep inhale through the nose, released by a deep exhale through the nose. Let it run like a river through your body. Allow your attention to flow clearly to this breath. Allow it to become your sole focus, your only goal. Inhaling deep through the nose. Exhaling deep through the nose. At the bottom of your next exhale, let all the air come out of your body. Release everything out. And then inhale, fill up deep. Let the breath rise from the very, very base of your being, filling you all the way up. Exhale out of your mouth and let it go. Release. Clear it out. Let it go. Again, inhale, fill up deep. Let the breath rise from the very, very base of your being. Exhale out of your mouth and let it go. Release. Clear it out. Again, inhale, fill up deep. Let the breath rise from the very, very base of your being. Exhale out of your mouth and let it go. Release. Clear it out. One last time, inhale, fill up deep. When you get to the top of your breath, hold. Then exhale out of your mouth, let it go. Release it. Clear it out. Come back to the breath in and out of your nose. This deep breath with a tightening at the back of the throat. This is your Ujjayi breath. Then we draw the knees into the chest. And you can do it one by one. And some of us may be able to reach the hands to the shins to draw the legs tighter to the body. Some of us may be able to grab either elbow. Some of us may just be reaching in the general direction of our legs. Whatever you've got is perfect. Just try to relax your shoulders down, relax your low back, relax your pelvis. Maybe you roll around on your spine. Just start these little rolls. We're coming back to that time in life before there was fear, before we had responsibilities, before we wore masks and had roles. Coming back to that time when all we did was roll around on our spines. Maybe rolling up into the shoulders, rolling down into the low back, the pelvis. And then as you're ready, just slowly roll up to a seated position. So just take your time with it. Let it happen naturally. It does not need to be graceful. We roll up to seated. And I'm gonna sit with my legs crossed. You may wanna have your legs extended out in front of you. That may feel better, whatever feels better for you. But from this seated position, let's just turn it into a little bit of a twist. So I'm gonna inhale my arms up into the air and really reach through the fingertips, relax the shoulders, relax the neck, relax the ears. Just reach through the fingertips. And then drop the right hand behind. The left hand is going to come onto the right thigh and then roll the right shoulder back. So when we rest, when we work, sitting straight upright at a desk, our insides are getting stiff. Our muscles get rough. And so this is an opportunity to inject that breath, finding that deep inhale through the nose, deep exhale through the nose, and use that to roll the shoulder back and really gaze, really look over that right shoulder and breathe. Take one more breath like this. Then when you're ready, come on back, take your time. Come back up through center, bring the arms up into the air, really reach up, relax the shoulders, relax the ears, relax the sides of the neck, and then drop the left hand behind you. The right hand comes on top of the left thigh, and we roll that left shoulder back and gaze over the left shoulder and really look like someone's trying to get your attention behind you. And as you're looking, you'll find that this right hip, it wants to pull up off the ground. Just weight it down. Use that right hand for traction. And just really look over the shoulder. Breathe. Each breath, opening you up through the shoulders. And then exhaling, relaxing the gaze back. Take one more breath like this. And then when you're ready, come on back through center, bring the arms up into the air, reach up, and then exhale, arms come down. And then put your little paws up right here at chest height, and we're gonna rock forward onto hands and knees. So again, it does not need to be graceful, it does not need to be dignified. You just rock forward, hands and knees. Walk yourself about halfway back on your mat, and if you've got it, grab your blanket. So we're gonna make a little sausage roll with this blanket. Some of you might wanna roll it like short ways, have a little short sausage. I like a long Frankfurter sausage, and just roll your mat up, either long ways or short ways, whatever makes the most sense for you. Roll it up, and then come up onto your shins. Take your towel or your blanket or maybe even your sweatshirt, whatever kind of cushiony fabric you got on hand, slide it into this gap in your knees. You might have to like rock forward a little bit to find where that really is. And then come back down. Oh, that's nice. All right, now separate your knees. We're gonna go into child's pose. Child's pose is like low-key, kind of a difficult posture. I like to make space for my body in this shape. So as somebody with a pretty big belly, I like to separate my knees really far apart from one another. Separate the knees, maybe adjusting the blanket or the towel or the sweatshirt. Whew. And you're trying to keep, we're gonna fold forward. You're gonna try to keep your hips close to your heels. If you've got a big ass, that's probably not gonna be a thing. Your ass is probably gonna go up into the air. It's totally chill. Just start to walk yourself forward, keeping the hips back with the heels as much as is available to you. Relaxing the shoulders down. Let the forehead come down to the ground. And just breathe here. Relax the shoulders. Relax the neck. Separate the knees as much as you need. You may like the knees together. You may want to bring them hip width apart. You may be like me and go mat length apart. Wherever you are, just find that breath. Find your deep inhale through the nose. Deep exhale through the nose. One more breath. And then rock yourself up onto hands and knees. We're going to practice cat pose and cow pose. So I'm going to take my blanket, slide it out from underneath that knee crease, and then bring it onto the ground. Make a little cushion for the knees, and maybe even for the wrists if that feels good for you. You can bring your hands onto the towel or the blanket, or you can bring it a little bit further away. I like it underneath my knees, and try to make sure you've got your knees at hip distance apart. We're trying to get the wrists underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips, and just shake it out a little bit here. Rock yourself back and forth. Maybe push the ribs over to the right, push the ribs over to the left. Just get into your body here. And then from here, inhale, drop the belly down, drop the heart down, and let the gaze come up. You can curl your toes under if you want some extra traction here. I like to keep my feet flat to the ground. On the exhale, curl the spine, shake out the head and the neck. Push the ground away, the arms are straight. Let's do that again. Inhale, drop the belly down, drop the heart down, let the gaze come up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake out the head and the neck. Again, inhale, drop the belly down, drop the heart down, let the gaze come up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake out that head and neck. One more time. Inhale, drop the belly down, drop the heart down, gaze comes up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake out the head and the neck. All right, come back to a neutral spine. We're gonna find our tabletop pose, and also I like to think of this as like a modified high plank. So it's similar to what we were doing before we went into our cat cow. So you're just gonna rock back and forth. Spread evenly through your hands. Spread wide through your fingers, fingertips really gripping into the ground. Shaking out your spine a little bit if that feels good. Neutralizing your tailbone. So if you find like your butt is sticking up in the air some, just scoop it under a tiny bit. And if you feel like you've got a pinched nerve ass and you're squeezing your butt out, let that go. Just shake it out. Trying to find this end-to-end balance through the crown of the head and then out. In my mind, it's actually like coming out of my butt, but just seeing this straight line through your body. And then from here, we're gonna transition into downward facing dog. Now, don't panic. In another class, we're gonna go into more detail about this posture, but just curl your toes under, lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And so instead of shooting your hips and your butt toward the back of the room, or even straight up into the air, just start to shift them up and back. Up and back. And I like to keep a pretty big bend in my knees here when I'm doing this. And you can bend into the left knee, bend into the right knee. And if it get to a point where you're like, Justin, this is bullshit, I'm dying, drop down to your knees. It's all good. Come back to that modified high plank. Rock yourself back and forth. Find your balance again. And then when you're ready, take your time, curl your toes under, lift your hips up. Let's take one more breath here, just like this. And then when you're ready, bring the right leg up into the air. Try to keep your hips square. So if you feel like your hip is popping out to the side, just point it down toward the ground. Flex through your toes. They're also pointing down toward the ground. And then as you're ready, step your right leg up to meet your hands in between your hands, and the left knee is going to come down to the ground. Okay, so I said that really fast, like it's easy or something. It's kind of hard as hell. So if you fell down on the way to that, don't sweat it. We're gonna work on it in another class. Just find your way into this shape. Get a little cushion for your knees with your blanket or your towel. Blocks come to your side. They can be at the medium height, the tall height. I'm gonna keep mine at the tall height for now. Right leg in front. Sink deep into that front knee. And if you feel like your knee bone of the left leg is just going straight into the ground, let your pelvis release so that you can come onto the left quad and off of your left knee bone, knee joint rather. And try to line up that front knee, front ankle as best you're able. Press into that front big toe and really push the ground away with the hands on the blocks. Oh, breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And then when you're ready, curl the back toes under. Bring your hands onto your thigh if you want. You can keep them onto the blocks, but we're gonna lift up into a high lunge. So we bring that left knee off of the ground, still sinking deep into that front knee, pressing into the blocks. Breathing. Breathe, breathe, breathe. One more breath. Drop that back knee down. Hands come down to the ground. Let's step back to a high plank and then shift the hips back into downward facing dog. And keep that bend in the knees. It's like you're pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Shake out the head and the neck. Then drop down to your knees. Shift the hips back, child's pose. Relax. You can go for the blanket rolled underneath the knees, or you can just splat. Wherever you are, relax. Let it go. We're gonna do that one more time on the other side. But for this moment, give up. Submit. You don't need to be the best. You don't need to worry about perfection. Because in truth, you are always doing your best. And you are perfection in every moment. Everything that you just did was exactly right. It was exactly what you needed today. Revel in that. And then when you're ready, rock back up onto hands and knees. Take your time. So we're gonna roll that again, just like we just did. Let's start with our cat-cow pose. We're gonna go a little bit faster this time. So on the inhale, drop the belly down, heart down, gaze comes up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake it out. Again, inhale, drop the belly down, heart down, gaze up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake out the head and the neck. Again, inhale, drop the belly down, heart down, gaze up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake it out. One more time. Inhale, belly down, heart down, gaze up. Exhale, curl the spine, round the back, shake it out. Now, come back to that neutral spine. Find your modified high plank. So we're rocking back and forth. We spread the fingers really wide, plugging into the fingertips into the knuckles, shoulders over wrists, knees and the hips are in the same line. Rocking back and forth, feeling that string coming from the crown of the head. And then again, if it's not too awkward for you, straight out of your ass, straight long line. And then when you're ready, we're gonna curl the toes under, maybe walk your hands just a little bit ahead of your shoulder heads. Here we go, downward facing dog. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back, up and back. Breathe. Bending those knees. I mean, you can bend so deep, your ankles do not need to be on the ground. Your chest comes back towards your thighs. Look about halfway back on your mat. Release it and then bring that left leg up into the air. Step it up to meet your hands. Drop down to the back knee. So that back knee down on a blanket if you want. Get your blocks ready. Have them here at your hips. You can have them at the tall height or at the low height, whatever feels better for you. And then just sink. It's like you pull the cord out of your hips and you let them release. Just let them go. Sink into that front knee. Try to line up the front knee, front ankle. Oh. And try to square your hips forward so you feel this really deep opening. If you feel a lot of sensation, maybe even getting to a point of tears, just let it happen. Let yourself feel. And then we're going to translate this into our high lunge. Curl the back toes under. Come up off of that back knee. Sink into the front knee. If you want, you can interlace the fingers on top of the thigh if you want to get them off of the blocks. Breathe here. Keep sinking deep in those hips. Breathe. One more breath. Hands come down. Let's step back, downward facing dog. Just step it back. And if you need to come down to your knees and like get your shit set up again and then come up into down dog, I ain't mad about it. That's perfect. It's beautiful. Shake out the hips. Breathe. Press that chest back toward the thighs. Release the tension in the neck. Drop down to your knees. Shift the hips back, child's pose. Move your blocks. Get your leg sausage going with the towel. Relax the arms down, forehead down. Beautiful work. Beautiful, beautiful practice. When you're ready, walk yourself up. Take your time. And then come to sit on your butt. And I'm gonna face you so you can see me. We're gonna bring our legs into a bound angle pose. So, bound angle. Bring your legs out in front of you to start. And then just sort of like rock your feet back and forth. And then draw your feet to the ground, knees pointing up. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees knocking out. Just find a moment here, breathing. You can hook your big toes if you want. Breathe. Sit up nice and tall. Relaxing the shoulders down and back. And then when you're ready, just gently lie down on your spine. We're going to come into our final rest, our Shavasana. I'm going to take my bolster, slide it underneath my knees. It's a nice little relaxation. If you don't have a bolster, get a pillow. It's perfect. 3 blankets, anything. Use your blocks if you want. Relax. You might knock your feet back and forth. Pull the tension out of them. You can take your hands, lift up the back of your skull, shake out the neck. Then let it come back down to the ground. Let the arms splay wide, take up space. You are deserving of space. You do not need to make yourself small. Let your eyes close and rest. Everything that we do is preparation for this moment. When we absorb, when we take it all in. So take rest. Shavasana. As you're ready, just start to invite small movements back into your body. For you, that might mean wiggling your fingers, flexing your toes, rolling your wrists. Draw your knees into your chest. Drop them over to either side. Using the strength of your hands and keeping the eyes closed, press yourself into a seated position. Bring the palms together at your heart. Allow your gaze to drop down. Seal in your practice. Thank yourself. Steep in gratitude. Carry this gratitude off of your mat. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale it out of your mouth and let it go. Allow the gaze to come up. Blink the eyes open. Namaste. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you back here tomorrow.